Sometimes really big news comes in really small packages. Thank you for watching. Today we're looking at the HPI Nano TTR, which is a 1/64th scale, ready to run. Insane how incredibly small this is. There have been a couple of obscure brands in the past that have tried their hand at a 1/64th scale that is fully functional, but nobody, I think, as well as HPI have now done it. It is cool to see a highly renowned brand such as HPI with a good reputation entering this micro market, because I think that that is what this should be classified as. This is way smaller than anything that you're perhaps familiar with some of the other manufacturers, like for example Kyosho has the Mini Z. That looks ginormous compared to this. 1/64th scale is approximately Hot Wheels size. They kind of hover around that size, and it is definitely Matchbox size. Those are the majority of the small vehicles that I had, the small diecast vehicles that I had as a kid. So seeing this come out is super cool to me. There's a number of reasons why I think that this is an important release for HPI. Not just because this is really like a gateway drug for people to get into RC. So if you have kids, this is the perfect first RC for them, just because it is so incredibly light. It is fully proportional, so your input as well, it's not just full tilt to the left, full tilt to the right. It is proportional to what you are doing on the radio. It is also affordable, and it offers a ton of customization options. We will go over every single one of those marks, I think, in this video, just to show you what it can do, what it comes with, and what is possible in the future. You can get the Nano TTR in two different versions. You can get this one. This is the ready to run. I would recommend actually getting this one just because it is extremely good value for money. This is the 1969 RTR Mustang X. RTR in this case means ready to rock. RTR, you might know them as the tuner, the car modifier that back in the day for the late Cam Block did the Unicorn. I have done a ton of Unicorn content on my channel just because I think that it was really inspiring and it was a benchmark when it comes to car customization. And also this toxic green wheeled Mustang from 1969 is of course definitely one of their hallmark vehicles, very recognizable, and I think you will also have seen this one in the 10 scale range of HPI racing. Seeing that this is fully licensed and fully legit also means that HPI has a ton of other stuff up their sleeve, because all of their licensing partners eventually will become involved in this Nano TTR range of vehicles. So that means you will see a lot of Ford vehicles, for example also the Escort that you now have as the WR8, which has recently been re-released, but also the BMW vehicles such as the M3 and the 2002. Those will also be added to this range of appearances in that micro segment. So that's all really dope. When I was a small boy, every time I went with my mom to the supermarket, they had like a ton of those Matchbox cars hanging at the checkout, and I would of course nag to see if I could get one, and if I would, then I would be pushing it around on the living room floor, on the kitchen table, and I would be having so many adventures with these 64th scale cars. Seeing that right now you have an actual radio system, and you can actually go forward, left, right, you can reverse, it has lights, it is incredibly fantastic, and I think that this will really speak to the imagination of a lot of people, not just children, but also definitely grown-ups. If you still have your die-cast vehicles from back in the day, it might be a good idea to see if you can retrofit those bodies on this Nano TTR chassis, or if you can otherwise perhaps come up with something to kind of relive your childhood memories. I know for sure that I will be doing that. You will also see that the Nano TTR comes with a full light kit. If you do not like that, just like with the Venture 18, you are fully capable of disabling that just by hitting this switch over here on the radio. This will disable the blinker lights, and if you don't like the lights at all, you can even push it forward all the way and you will just have your direction and your throttle. Fully tunable radio, by the way, so you have your throttle trim, steering trim, endpoint adjustments. It is very complete. Reverse switches, so it is kind of like a full-sized RC, except that it fits in the palm of your hand. This of course also means that you can run this thing absolutely anywhere. You can run this at school, you can run this in the break room at work, you can run it in the office, you can run this at the bus station, the gas station, the train station, in the train, in the bus, on top of a bus, on the kitchen table, on the coffee table, on the dining room table, in the bathroom, anywhere you want. The sky is the absolute limit. So this is truly an anytime, anywhere type of RC, which I think is really cool. Like I said, this is the ready to run version. So this one comes with the radio, and it also comes with a charging cable, and then with the car. And the announced retail price for this one is 60 UK pounds. So I think it will also kind of translate to 60 euros. And the US pricing is still to be announced, which I think is a very good deal for something that is this complete. Perhaps you already have a radio, perhaps you have this MTX 400 radio, or perhaps you have the TF51 radio from HPI. You will be able to bind those to just the car, so you can also just buy the vehicle. Just buying the vehicle, announced price for those 40 British pounds, I think also 40 euros. And I think that's actually also a pretty good deal. However, for myself, I would definitely go with the ready to run package, just because it is a lot easier and it comes very complete, already bound, no hassle whatsoever. I'm really excited to see if they'll also come out with some drift spec tires, for example. These tires are fairly grippy. I have been zipping this thing around my building over here, so in the workshop, top floor, bottom floor, anywhere, just to see what it does. It does take a tiny bit of throttle input for the rear tires to break free. But once they do, you will also see that it becomes a tiny bit unpredictable. So the car does want to oversteer if you really start pushing the throttle. And that's of course also because there is no rear diff. That could definitely be solved with some less grippy tires. So it could be that once I start wearing these out, they will become a bit less grippy. You can of course make your own by adding some CA glue to it. I think that would really make them lose some grip as well. Or we can wait and see what else HPI will come out with in the long run. I see a full range of drift spec vehicles, perhaps even like a bit off-roady looking vehicles. And of course, if you have any type of Hot Wheels collection and you have like a garages and scale setups and little scale roads and whatnot, this will fit right in. So in that respect as well, it is absolutely fantastic. If you like tinkering and you have, for example, a 3D printer, you can find a ton of STL files with different bodies on, for example, umagine.com. I will make sure there's a link to that website in the video description box, and on Umagine you will find a ton of different vehicles. All of those can be sized to this 1/64 scale spec. You can then print them out using your resin printer for some really high detail, paint it up, and then stick it on the chassis. This body comes off just using 2 teeny tiny screws, and you just pop the entire unit off. You can plop a different body on there, print some new different wheels and tires as well, and off you go with a highly personalized vehicle. This Mustang, however, it does look very good, I would say. It's very detailed, throttle body sticking out of the hood is all very scale accurate. They nailed all of those body lines. And I think as a very first release for HPI in this nano market, this thing ticks all of the boxes. I will make sure there's a link to the HPI Nano TTR in the video description box so you can read more about this vehicle. Keep your eyes peeled to see when they will appear in the store near you. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section, and we'll try to get back to you. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to let me know. I will be packing a suitcase because I am off to Beat the Creek this weekend. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that event, but it is definitely worth visiting. It is in Kentucky in the United States, so I have about 20 something hours of travel ahead of me. But it is always nice to see some familiar faces and some new faces as well in RC. And perhaps I will see you over there. Perhaps I will even bring my HPI Nano TTR to have some fun at the airport. All right, I will catch you around. Bye-bye.
Back on.